Well, so I have Joseph Akable, he's here, but today we're telling you that the Ghana Christian Health and the Ghana Health Service, they are investigating circumstances that led to the death of a 9-week-old baby. Rachel Kojanja brought you a story about how the Catholic Relief Services decided to visit the facility. It's the St. Gregory Hospital at Kaswa, is a Catholic hospital. And just because they couldn't pay 533 Ghana cedis, the child had to be taken off oxygen and ultimately died. I mean, that's a sad part of it. And many people had come in and said, well, they just needed to make an appeal. But the point is, many people find themselves in dire straits in our country. Probably got to do with the states of how we live and the economy and how people can't just make ends meet. 550 Ghana is just like, just a little above $100. Can't pay the bill. Anyway, Joseph Akable, good morning to you. We have a couple of the newspapers. You were also in court yesterday.
Yes, for the Opuni trial.
Yeah, and I'm told that you said that the trial is going to take 2 more weeks because of some few things.
Yes, I mean, the lawyers on both sides couldn't agree on the extent of documents that the AG must make available to the prosecution. Dr. Opuni had wanted all documents in the custody of Cocoa Board, documents in the custody of the PPA, among other documents. But the argument by the Attorney General was to the effect that I cannot give you documents that I don't intend to even use in a courtroom. Else, no matter which document I give you, you still argue that it's insufficient, and the issues about whether the law allows that or not. And because an already similar issue had come up in the NCA trial and had been referred to the Supreme Court for interpretation, the court thought that it's appropriate they allow the Supreme Court to rule on that matter before it proceeds with that particular case. So in terms of the Dr. Opuni trial, we can expect it to be in some of the few newspapers, but there are some who think that the lawyers for Dr. Opuni simply want to delay the court processes. I don't know what you think of that. I mean, 2 trial days and take a break for at least 2 weeks. You think someone is delaying the court?
Well, I think it's just a matter of what the procedures of the law are and what the procedures of courts are. The defense lawyers of Dr. Opuni, are they right in making those arguments?
I think the judge will decide. But you recall last time when I came in for us to have that discussion, you did ask whether we expect the party supporters to continue to throng the court premises. I mean, I can assure you, the gentlemen who were embarrassed, the ladies who were embarrassed, I mean, absent yesterday.
Yeah.
The other parties, the party executives, you recall we had seen Kofi Adams, we saw General Secretary Johnson Esedu Nketia, among former appointees, the former Attorney General, ranging to all other individuals.
So they all came this time?
They were absent again.
And this is, we have a long haul, right?
Yeah, this is just a second day.
And the trials could drag on even for years, right?
Yeah. I mean,
and if we talk for years, it's more than a year, right?
Definitely, we've seen some go 2-3 years. I mean,
and even sometime at the end of the term of
it's very possible. So, I mean, clearly, it appears the support that they were promising and those who are assured.
Right. But did you speak to some legal team members of the?
Yes, I engaged
of the accused.
Victor Adaudu. He is a spokesperson for Dr. Opuni's legal team, and he was of the opinion that it's not a case that they intend to delay the courts like some may assume, but they simply want to follow through the procedure.
Okay, so now let's listen to Victor Adaudu.
Right to be given fair trial. The Constitution says, give me a fair trial. Even if you think that I am guilty, give me all the documents, everything, or the trial. Give me the time to prepare my defense, and I have to raise reasonable doubt in the mind of the court. Don't forget that there's about 27 charges, and Opuni is being made to see that he's such a bad person that nobody. So you could see what has always been in the public domain. Every time about Cocoa Board and his tenure, you could see it. And you will not also be surprised that as at yesterday we had filed for a defamation, because it is just being done to
so the cases of defamation, etc., are different from the main
entirely different. That is against the Daily Guide newspaper, which we are checking out now.
So we have the Daily Guide, and it's been rightly captured.
Yes, it reports Opuni trial on hold as more rot uncovered at CMC. So that is that headline.
They are never afraid, right?
No.
More rot. All right.
The other stories on the front page of the Daily Guide: Nana unveils new job policy. we are told that this is a program, social economic development program that will ensure that jobs are created for the youth.
Can you just go in there and let's see where it goes?
I mean, so it says President Akufo-Addo yesterday launched a 7-year coordinated program of economic and social development policies with the job creation taking center stage. Going forward, government's policy direction will be hinged on 5 pillars of growth and development, which are revitalization of the economy, transforming agriculture and industry, revamping of the economic and social infrastructure, while strengthening social protection and inclusion, and reforming delivery of public institutions. I mean, lots of English.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you what it means.
I mean, if you take the issues that they've raised bit by bit, I can tell you that we've heard various governments say it in one form or the other.
Yeah, it's just the semantics.
We've heard
the difference is in the construction or the wording of those phrases, right?
And the fact that we are putting it in one book and saying that, I mean, this is a plan.
We've had a lot of this structure adjustment, a lot of things over the years.
What's the result? I mean,
growth, 1 and 2. And
we recall the president's media encounter 2 occasions. He has been asked the number of jobs he has created. He couldn't put a figure to it. So
what do you think about that?
I think it's unfortunate, and now that they've launched this program, we expect that in 2 years' time, or maybe in the election year, when he decides to put himself, or whether his party decides he shouldn't, I mean, whoever is leading the party will be able to tell us how many jobs they've created with this particular program. That is what.
What other story do you have on the front page?
The other one has to do with Wontumi goes unopposed.
Oh, okay.
That is the Ashanti Regional Chairman of the NPP, very popular figure in that part of the country, going unopposed. It's been reported by Daily Guide.
I see.
You like Wontumi?
Yeah, I like him. Do you have something in the center spread? I always like looking at the center spread.
Okay, so it's embarrassing. I forgot my lyrics on stage. That is coming from one Kofi Carter. I don't know him.
Okay, I'm sure Derek knows all the underground artists.
Well,
he only knows artists who are not popular.
I see. Your friend is also here, Israel. He's talking about boobs. Okay,
Israel. So I listened to his personality profile on Drive Time with Lexus.
But the question is, who doesn't like boobs? Or what do you think?
I'd known him for.
So, Roland, I'm asking you about what he's talking about.
I think for me, I'm indifferent. I don't mind if the boobs are okay. I don't get crazy about whether a woman has a breast or not. But it doesn't have to be flat. So, yeah.
I see. But the question, the other story here says, I can't promise I won't act nude. Is coming from Evelyn Gill on Sunday, saying that, I mean, she's up for any role that may come away. Daddy Lumba Jr. humbled by lawsuits. I'm sure you've seen this.
He looks like the maestro.
I'll say he wants to look like the maestro.
Right. And he was going around saying he was the son, and the man just put a certain break on him at the courts. And he said he was surprised that the man did that. Yeah.
Well,
but you can't go around saying your Daddy Luma when the man doesn't approve. But if you take a look at what happens elsewhere, people dress like Michael Jackson, even come on stage. But I don't think Michael Jackson ever sued anybody.
The difference is that I don't think those people, they claim he is their dad. I mean, because that claim in itself can enable you to get some offers that ordinarily shouldn't be getting. I mean, if someone is parading saying that my dad is
that he said his dad, it's just like maybe some colonial boy.
In fact, that is not the impression I got initially. Right. Especially the way he dresses and the way he does his things. I thought.
Do you have a girlfriend? Of course, the question about the boobs. Do you like boobs or you don't?
Okay, so which one should I answer? The second one. I'm also indifferent, just like you are.
Yeah.
So I think you can.
So mix the two of us. So go on to the next one.
The Daily Graphic. So there's a photograph of Godfrey Dame, the Deputy Attorney General, and Dr. Stephen Kwabena Opuni. It says Attorney General rubbishes Opuni's request, and we discussed that a short while ago. 5 suspected petroleum smugglers arrested. I think we talked about this story where Roland felt that these are the small guys in the whole value chain.
Yeah, you don't think so?
Business. I don't know that sector so well, so I can tell.
I grew up in Ashama. There's a place. There's something we call Billy. You know, like the guys or the drivers or the mates or those who work just around toll, around there we call it GIPE, who work around the oil industry. So they are giving, let's say, truck loads or tank loads of fuel to go and dislodge somewhere. You know, I don't know.
Take a bit of it off.
No, after it's dislodged, in Kasibi or the residue.
Okay.
So they'll collect it or somehow drain it, put it in gallons, add some diesel. So they kind of do some premix for you.
I see.
Yeah,
I see.
and that business is right. People use it even to build nice properties and things like that. It's
you
a big business.
People make a lot of money out of it.
Yeah,
I see.
It's a lot of money. So and then people, so it's graduated that level of that level. So it's to the point where we even see the allegations are boss saying that it's contaminated. It's that kind of thing, but it's just on a bigger scale. Do you understand?
I see.
And it's all I won't say it's illegal, but that's how it is. Yeah.
Well, let's do some other stories on the front page of Daily Graphic. Let's talk about the University of Ghana Medical Center, because you're being told it's still not completed.
You went to the University of Ghana?
Yes, I mean it's.
I was happy and proud to find that
it's a beautiful facility,
yeah.
but we are told that they need some $50 million to finish what is left of it. I mean,
that's the story of our country, right?
After pumping about $217 million into that facility, the back and forth between
other facilities
governments
around the world that are more expensive than this.
Yeah, but it's problematic if you fix the figure. I mean, estimate that this is how much it should cost, and you are done, and you are being told again that in 15.
But that's the problem if we don't finish on time. It also increases cost.
Yeah, that's true.
We should realize that.
That's true. So
inflation
some approval has been given, and we expect it to be completed soon. But some sports on the back page of the Daily Graphic, it says Kotoko Pip dwarfs 2-1, Liberty and Ashgold's unbeaten run, also being reported by the Daily Graphic this morning. The Ghanaian Times talks about the same socio-economic development policy that Roland is excited about. Economy expanded 8.5% in 2017, highest in 5 years. I don't know what you watching us think about it. You feel the economy is expanding that fast? I mean, the question we normally ask people is, do you feel it in your pocket?
I think that the fundamentals or the indicators are very good based on what the numbers being reported by the central bank is. It's not reflecting in the rate at which the banks lend to ordinary customers or domestic users like you and I, or even to businesses. So I would say that maybe management of the fundamentals are very good, but it's not reflecting on the ground, because you know, the Kufado-led campaign said we want to take Ghana away from the Gajisbergian, you know, that kind of talk. It's still not. We haven't improved the fundamental. We still do a lot more imports, and then the balance of trade with our traditional partners, and now the ASEANs and the top countries in Asia, China, etc., is still not been breached. So I don't see how we're not even trading more, importing more from India, from China, etc. I don't see how we can breach that gap. So we can only maintain the fundamentals, GDP, rate to GDP, the rate at which we spend per our budgetary allocations, etc. But I don't think we can do anything astronomical.
The thing about the ordinary man is, I mean, and I blame the politicians when people are asking for power. I mean, they make people aware that you're going to fill it in your pockets.
No, I don't know that kind of talk. And I know that the politicians do that a lot, but realistically it's not possible. The thing is, what our governments need to strive to do is to create enough equity so that the ordinary man will have a public transportation system, a proper structure for planning. So if you buy a land, for example, you don't have to think about the road that will have to come to your community. Nobody built haphazard. You have a system that also identifies you.
In terms of power supply, electricity?
Yes. Water. And so that everybody also could be identified and taxed in such a little way, so that we don't have the ones already paying tax being overtaxed. So I think our people who went to the Harvards and all that, who are in the political position, know what to do. They just don't do it when they come to power. They only know what to do when they are in opposition. That's our problem.
They become very smart and raise a lot of objections to our policies.
So we keep seeing all that.
Let's see. But trial of Dr. Opuni, 2 others put on hold, is also being reported by the Ghanaian Times this morning. And man slashes father to death is another story on the front page. It says a 25-year-old man at Peta near the Avidakpa in the Akachi North district of the Volta region is alleged to have slashed his father's throat with a sharp cutlass, killing the old man instantly. That's
was it in the right frame of mind?
Wow, it's one of those stories that you just can't understand.
Yeah.
But that is it for the Ghanaian Times.
Okay.
Daily Dispatch is talking about who wins NPP's General Secretary and National Youth Organizer positions, and Dispatch is making some predictions.
Yeah, I think I was reading Ben Efson. Good morning to Uncle Ben Efson, who was saying that Dominic Edria. I was told that he was a deputy, apparently National Youth Organizer.
I don't really know him very well.
I'm telling you.
Okay.
Yeah, he was the deputy National Youth Organizer. Because when I asked someone, they said it's between him and
one Nana Bachi, the deputy NSS executive director.
So we'll see how that goes. But Nana Bachi seems to have a lot of attention in the media. Dominic doesn't. So sometimes you get mixed up
on social media. I see a lot of stuff from
Nana Bachi.
Nana Bachi,
yeah. And you know,
I think the other part is in terms of the frontline communicators. Nana B, even before the elections, was in a lot of communications for the party. So he's a face that people.
And I'm told that Dominic is a groundsman.
Well, and Sir John will tell you that. I mean, you have to fear delegates. The guys on the ground are the ones who do the voting.
And there's a third though, Kamaldeen Abdullahi, who was a national Nasara coordinator, is also there. So they've all been doing some groundwork, but I don't know. We'll get to see who wins. Really, I don't know Dominic very well. I know Nana Boache, and I know the national Nasara coordinator Kamaldeen Abdullahi also very well. So
let's see who the party settles on. But baby dies as oxygen supply is cut due to delay in paying 533 cedis. That's unfortunate story.
This issue, is it because of indiscretion, or what do you think? It's just that because they didn't have it, I
will want to wait and hear from the doctors at the facility. It sounds bizarre. I'm struggling to believe any doctor in his right senses.
We have stories like this repleted in our hospitals.
Because I mean, thinking about it the whole of yesterday, I find it very worrying. I mean, because the doctor, you know that is what is keeping the baby alive. I mean, what if you are not getting the money? You keep it on. Whatever being the case is, debt that is accumulating, they'll have to still pay. And I know cases where people have been treated and they are kept in the ward for a long time because the money is
somebody needs that bed.
Well, that is a genuine argument to make.
Money.
That is a genuine argument to make. But like we heard the health minister say 2 days ago, he says you need to stabilize the person first, then now think about finding bed space. The person has to be stable. The baby is surviving on it, and that is if we are to assume that the reports we are getting is entirely accurate and that the baby was pulled off the oxygen. I think it's very unfortunate, but I'm sure they may have reached out to people to help them. We have people get calls from people daily telling them that I'm in this kind of need, but sometimes the severity never gets to you until you hear such news. So it's also a call on all of us to be at the skipper. I'm sure I'll put in a request to roll and work after that. I mean, we're helping each other. I'm not under oxygen though.
No, it doesn't matter. I think that's one way or the other we all tend to help. And what you even do by bringing stories of people to the public is even help.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
We don't quantify what we do, but I think that mostly we help a lot.
Yeah,
we help a lot in improving the livelihood of many people.
There's another bizarre story on the front page of Daily Dispatch where a bride's auntie sleeps with groom before marriage. That is also another one.
Where things happen around. So.
A lot of them.
All right. Can I just do the Business and Financial Times?
Sure.
And you were talking about the economy. We say economy grows by 8.5% in 2017 against a target of 6.3, highest in 6 years. And I was watching something on social media. Bloomberg had reported this, and there was all this about how Ghana will become one of the fastest growing economies within the year 2018. And that's a good thing about it. So, like I kept saying, the numbers, the fundamentals look very good in terms of how we're managing. So, we'll see how that goes. Our expands regional operations set to start free-time flights. Have you been a passenger of our before?
No.
Okay. They have good flights. And PIAG alarmed over 104 million Ghana cedi projects cost overruns. And HFC set to raise 255 million Ghana cedis in rights issue. It's set for April 24 for rebranding as well. That's a good thing. All right.
The Business Finder talks about the economy, says inflation drops further, and President sets new 7-year plan in motion as CSIR to lead agenda. The last one here says recapitalization of banks debate heats up. We are told the President has set up a committee to review what it has been pegged at currently. So we'll see how that one goes. A lot of the banks, we are told, are struggling to meet the requirement. That is the 400 million cedi minimum capital requirement. So a lot of them may fold up. That is if by December nothing changes about this. And people are saying that when people get small cash, they set up banks, and that is the problem. But the other side of the argument is that people are not paying their loans, and that is why the banks are struggling.
The banks call it NPLs, non-performing loans. Right? Can we go online? We do our own. We do it first. MyJoyOnline.com.
It says why stocks may be a better long-term investment than land. Land, as we all know, is a very valuable asset to appreciate in Ghana over time.
I think the lands are better.
Well, maybe they have.
In a bridge, you don't own your own land unless you through an estate agency.
Perhaps the story has to do more with the, you know, the whole litigation.
Just 5 years ago.
The litigation that surrounds lands.
Well, yeah. So they make it more expensive at the end of the day. Yeah. There's a friend who is paying double for a land she's built on, so you can imagine.
Yeah. So it doesn't make it very attractive.
She paid the first time, and there was a court case, and the other family won, and they all seem to be in the same family, but with different brothers.
So you have to now pay off the other side as well.
Yeah. So she now has been given some other payment to make.
I see.
She's amortized it though. It means that she's broken down by a period to pay.
Okay.
All right.
So some more stories on myjoyonline.com. It says economy is so bad you need a man to take care of you. That is coming from.
I was just watching this on social media. I was telling Derek Ekosama about. What do you think about it?
Well, a lot of the criticism, I think she opened up.
Are they criticizing her?
Yes, people are raising issues.
The economy is so bad you need a man to take care of you.
I think the narrative has to do with the fact that she's even said that there are times where you need to date married men simply because they have the wherewithal to take care of you, and that is what people.
Is she lying?
She's not lying, but people are a bit uncomfortable about that show of honesty and
listen, Africa, we're hypocrites, man.
We want people to speak the truth, and that is what she's talking about.
No, I don't think she's lying. We've known this for years. I mean, sometimes you have people you've worked with who do that as well, because maybe their salaries generally.
How about people wanting to live beyond their means? I mean, because perhaps you're on the screens and you need to look a certain way, you need to drive a certain car.
That also is key, because fame comes with certain liabilities.
Yeah. That's true.
Because when you have fame, if you don't control your mindset, you'll be eating at a certain restaurant when you should be eating in a chop bar. You know, you'll be driving a four-wheel drive when you should not be driving a four-wheel drive, and so it makes you spend beyond your means, and you could fall in trouble.
That's true.
But I feel it's a lack of discipline.
Financial discipline, very important.
Because if you can't discipline yourself, you have to be able to manage your finances well for your future. So I don't know. It means that you'll be living by the day, and if you're a woman, beauty doesn't stay for long. Women wrinkle quickly than men, unless perhaps maybe you're in a war-torn country when we all grow old together. So you just have to watch the way you live.
That's true. But let's talk about.
That's why many of them grow up when they are getting to the age of pension. That's when they want to give birth and marry.
Because at that point,
so they are happy when they marry late. They're still happy, and they are all.
I see.
They occupy social media with a lot of noise. Now let's go on.
I saw a story about Owusu Bempah, Reverend Owusu Bempah.
Yeah.
Okay, but
Reverend Owusu Bempah.
Yes, he said his appointment to the cancer board not political. He's not a friend.
I used to go to his church those times.
I see.
When I used to report on 31st December church services. Yeah.
But since his appointment came in, people have described it as political. But he's saying that
he's on the board of the breast cancer.
Yes.
For the Ministry of Gender.
The question people are raising is that is it a case that we saw him pray a lot for the president before the elections. I mean, both publicly.
A lot of people also prayed for John Mahama, the main opponent of the president too.
The concerns are that those people are not getting on board. So if you are getting on board, it must be political, definitely.
I think it is political. There's nothing. We don't have to be hypocritical about it. But then, is he competent to be on a breast cancer board? If you're on a board, don't you need some expertise to contribute? With
regards to this particular breast cancer board, I mean, it has to do a lot with, I mean, using your goodwill, trying to assist in raising funds. That is what at least we've heard him try to explain. So if indeed that is what he's going on to do, we expect him to be able to do that. The pastors are good at raising funds. You know that.
I tell you. I went to a wedding the last time. The pastor raised some funds. Tell it. Anyway.
Well, other stories. The EPA boss sacked. It's also being reported. I saw that letter from the presidency yesterday. This had been
coming, right? Kennedy Japan said something to the effect that...
In fact, he had mentioned that one of the deputy of staff was the one behind...
Yes, who wants to bring a new person.
But the letter coming from the presidency...
As they say, local balance, panyapa. The thing, is they come small, you boil up.
But the presidency is giving a different explanation. They are saying that it has to do more with the EPA board, because once you are appointed in an acting capacity, the EPA board needs to recommend.
But you know the basis of this. I'm told that when he appeared before the Public Services Commission or the Local Government Service, that'll be right.
Yeah.
He failed the interview, we're told. Well, according to a report, which he's come to dispute.
I see. So it lends credence to the Kennedy Japan side story.
So he said that can't be true, because I think he's a lecturer.
Yes, at UEW.
Yeah, in chemistry and all that. So I kept wondering, how can a professor he's a professor.
Especially when he has been appointed by the government in power. We wish him well.
Okay. Yeah, we wish him well, wherever he's going to.
I'm sure
they'll find something else for him. He's been a former member of parliament.
Perhaps his students will be glad to have him back in the lecture hall.
Hey! All right, so then we have Jenapo also fighting PIAC's claim about non-existent oil-funded projects.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's look at this.
Syria chemical attack, US weighs up military response. A lot going on.
You know, there's this thing between Russia and the US now. The US is saying that it could wage some attacks on some targets in Syria, and Russia, headed by Putin, is saying if you attack any of those areas where the missiles are coming from, we'll attack the source of the missiles. So it could be jets belonging to the United States military, or even ships. Let's see how
the two countries are having a lot of fun. Superpowers, they're like children with two guns playing with it.
They feel the two of them challenge right now. US has lost its place sometimes. That's why.
We are just watching them. We hope they don't attack any of us.
So we have the Africa page of the BBC.
UN, coming from the UN, dead bodies protest was propaganda. UN disputes claims that civilians were killed during an operation in the CAR capital, Bangui. They're being reported by the BBC. We have the story about plane crash kills hundreds in Algeria. Very unfortunate.
Over 200 people were killed in a plane crash. And right now, as of now, the Bouteflika government has called a national day of mourning, or a week of mourning, and prayers are said to be ordered in all mosques across the country. Even doctors were on strike at the time. Now they've come back to the various health facilities to be able to help with the issue, or all of them trooped to the needed health facilities that were around the crash site to help with the victims, because everybody lost their life who were occupants of that plane. But that's all, rest in peace.
Definitely very unfortunate one day. Tough time for the family.
All right. You love football.
Yes, I do.
Yesterday.
I do.
Did you follow the UEFA Champions League matches yesterday?
The referee messed up the game.
Which one?
The Real Madrid game. The Real Madrid
but
game.
that penalty was a penalty.
It was.
It could have been a penalty.
It could have been a penalty,
but
and that is when
so you are saying it was a soft penalty.
Yeah,
I think that's what you're saying. It's soft.
Yeah, but at that time of the match, it's only fair that the referee
let it go into injury.
Exactly.
Extra time.
The team, I think, it was unfair to Juventus. I mean, very unfair.
Yeah. Everybody who likes Premier League always says that. But you're a Barca fan.
Yeah, my team is out. I would have loved Madrid to join us.
No problem. No problem. That's why you're against that penalty. But Benedict Owusu and the rest of the team, they'll be here to bring to us the latest headlines in sports, and also what the results are, especially from the round of matches yesterday evening as we witnessed in the UEFA Champions League. But please get interactive. Facebook JoyNews on TV. You can also watch us through our regular channel on YouTube, my JoyNews TV.